Hello, everybody. It's me again, and we're gonna do a new episode, and we're gonna talk about writing. So I'm gonna pull up my Scrivener. So usually, I used to use Word for writing in. It's the program I know the best. Um, the trial that came with the computer that I have ran out at some point, and I was unaware that that was a thing that could occur. I've been using computers for a long time. I'm quasi tech savvy, so I thought it was always my understanding that when you bought a computer, when you bought a version of Word Office, or yeah, I'm tech savvy, no, of Microsoft Office, that you owned that and it worked for forever. And that the one that came with the computer, it might not be, I don't want to say the full program, but yeah, it might be a more streamlined version than the Office you might buy straight from Microsoft. But you got to remember, I started using computers when you literally could go to the store and buy a physical copy of a disc of Word and Office. And I'm not quite sure that that's still a thing. I think it's just online now. But anyway, I had lost my Word, went somewhere. I don't know where. So I had no writing program at all. So some friends suggested some free services that were similar, like LibreOffice and things like that. And I'm not going to say that they didn't work or they didn't do what they were supposed to. They certainly did, and I was happy to use them. But as I came back into wanting to read, or write, read, anyway, you know me, I can't talk. I wanted something a little bit more professional. So I debated about Office and Scrivener. Now, I settled to buy Scrivener first because it is geared specifically to writing novels and other craft, but for me specifically, it's geared toward writing a manuscript. This is my manuscript. Now, I don't typically write in wingdings, but because I'm putting this on the internet, and at least in this view, you can see the words on the screen. I don't want the possibility of what words I show when I'm typing to get someone that takes my idea. That seems very, I don't know, maybe paranoid, but I do know plagiarism is a thing. Now, I'm not a famous author. I'm not even going to say that this is guaranteed to get published, but I figured this was a good way to talk about what I'm writing and where I'm at and be able to share, because the titling over here is just, information to me that nobody else is really gonna get. So let's talk a little bit about where I am and where I plan to go. So right now, these are my chapters. And this is something I've also found works very nice with Scrivener, is I have this entire story in my head from beginning to end. I know all the parts of it. I've always said that writing this is sort of like trying to translate it. That it's in one language in my head and I have to get it into English onto the page. And sometimes the inner translator is broken. I never have what I would classify typically as writer's block. for me, I've always understood writer's block to be not knowing what comes next. I don't have that problem. I know exactly what's coming next. I just don't know how to get what's visually in my head physically into words on the documentation. So I get stuck. So when you're writing, you make the chapters. You can right click up here to add a new text. They have a system called folders. I don't use those because I write by chapter, but you certainly could if you wanted to. So if I'm writing up here at the very beginning, start of the book, and some other part of the story really clicks and wants out right that moment, which has happened, I can open a document and put it here and go in and type that part that's calling my name until I get it out, and then I can go back up to where I was. And if I'm writing, like right now I have this set up this particular way, and I decide that I want, this chapter to be between these two instead of after, you just drag and drop, which is really nice. If you decide, like, that it would be better for these two chapters to go together, you can drag this into that. I'm not going to. I don't want that. I don't want to undo that. But you can do it if that's something that you need to do. So, what I'm going to do is talk about where I am, words, goals, and where I want to be, and what I think my possibilities of that is. So I got re-inspired to write by watching some vlogs about Camp NaNoWriMo. And and that seemed to move that block that I had. So since the 16th of April, this is what I've written. Now this is something I set up. I think the whole manuscript's going to be about 100,000 words. I've written just about 15,000 words. I haven't written anything today. My daily goal right now is 1,600 words. Now that changed. When I first started camp, for the days of camp, my original target had been 6,000 words, and I figured I could do about 500 words a day and hit that goal. I got to the 6,000 words, and it wasn't the end of April yet, so it wasn't the end of camp. So I decided to because I was part the way done with chapter 2, I decided, hey, you know what? I'll make finishing chapter 2 my new camp goal. Well, I got to the end of chapter 2, and it still wasn't the end of April. And I decided, well, I got enough days. I know what's happening next. I was at about 7,000 words. I'll make my new camp goal for the end of April, 10,000 words, and the end of chapter 3. So they should coincide. Because on average, again average, it's about 3,000 to 5,000 words a chapter. So I hit that on the very last day, very near to midnight, but I did hit it. So I've only written 5,000 words in the last 10 days. So that's still on par for 500 words a day. I want to step that up. So starting today, we're going to do a daily vlog on writing. And this is today's. Tomorrow, I'm just going to do a real short, not a lot of talking, and a little bit of showing of how I type or my setup. So you'll actually get to see me. Thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in Scrivener, they offer a 30-day trial, and it's not 30 days like you're used to. I'm used to, if you sign up for a 30-day trial, like you signed up today, in 30 days, so on the 10th of June, your trial would be over. That's not how Scrivener does it. So what Scrivener does is they give you 30 actual days of use. So if you install Scrivener and you open it and you use it that day, that's day 1. And that was today. So then you have stuff going on for the weekend because Sunday's Mother's Day. So you don't get back to your writing till, say, Tuesday. So if you're doing a classical 30-day trial, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be the 5th day. You'd have 25 days left. But with how they do their program, is that's day 2. It's the second day you've had the program open. You still have 28 days left. So you get an actual 30 days of use. I will be installing Microsoft Word and buying it. Probably not this month, depending on how much I spend for my anniversary in a few days, because me and the hubby will go and do something for 25 years of being married to one another. We're talking right now dinner and a movie. I know that doesn't sound really exciting for 25 years, but money's been tight and we're pretty simple people, so that's what we're gonna do. But you guys, I always appreciate, I don't care if it's one person or a million of you, I appreciate everyone that watches these videos, that comments with your ideas or things you want to see. And as always, I hope you guys have the best day.